The next demo up is by a home cook with a passion for perfectly cooked food. He began seriously cooking when he received his first immersion circulator in 2018, and a year later, he had fallen in love with documenting his growth as a cook and a photographer. He started his recipe blog and Instagram page at JB Sous Vide and has since grown it to be one of the premier sous vide accounts on the platform. He recently launched his YouTube page by the same name, and it's sure to be a must-watch for sous vide recipes, tips, and tricks. So please help me welcome James Beshada.
Today, we'll be making some lobster toast. Essentially, an open-faced lobster roll with thick Texas toast. I'm going to show you 2 ways to prepare this dish and how we can use sous vide to make our lives a whole lot easier. What's up, everybody? I'm James with JB Sous Vide, and I'm really happy to be a part of this great showcase put on by the ISVA. I don't know about you, but I love lobster rolls. But living in the South, we don't really have access to those great New England split top buns that make a lobster roll so great. I got super frustrated after moving down here, having to use hot dog buns to try and fit a little bit amount of lobster into this small bun. It's not right. In the end, that's what caused me to go this route and have to kind of try and think outside the box. So the first thing I thought about is that nice, fluffy, thick Texas toast and making it an open-faced sandwich. It was really the best decision I ever made, and I really hope you enjoy it too. First, let's talk about the lobster. The one thing that always deters me when I'm at the supermarket from actually getting a lobster is the thought that I'm gonna have to clean up a mess. I've never been able to steam or boil a lobster without getting some sort of mess on me. But that's probably one of the best things about this video. Enter our sponsors. This video is sponsored by Shucks Maine Lobster. The cool thing about their lobster is they have a process of removing the raw meat from the shell. You don't have to deal with any of that. You just get raw meat, ready to go to the bath. Seasoning here is going to be simple for the bag. Just got a little bit of butter, a little bit of aromatic, some tarragon. All going to go in the bag with the lobster. All right, y'all, what a bath break. Let's talk about the different presentations we're gonna have today. First off, the first question you're gonna have to answer, are you Team Connecticut or Team Maine? What do I mean by that? Well, there are 2 prevalent styles for lobster rolls, Connecticut style, Maine style, that we're gonna draw inspiration on for this toast. The main difference, get it? Main difference is on the Maine lobster roll, you're gonna have mayo, you're gonna have a little bit extra seasoning, you might even have some celery for crunch, but it's really more of like a lobster salad. The Connecticut style is hot lobster with hot drawn butter over top, but really, both presentations start with the perfect piece of toast, and we'll get to that now. Using a nice piece of Texas toast, or just really any thick piece of bread, we're gonna cover one side in mayo, and we're gonna toast it in this pan until you have the perfect brown color, just like if you were cooking a grilled cheese. Once both sides are done, you're gonna hit it with a little salt, and there's your toast. Simple. Mayo, just enough to coat how much lobster you have. You still want to be able to taste the lobster. You don't want to go too crazy here. Little diced celery for crunch. Little chopped parsley, dill, basil to brighten everything up. We're also going to add some lemon zest here. And some lemon juice. All right, let's go ahead and put this together. In here, we just got some clarified butter, a little bit of cayenne pepper. Just gonna spoon that on. right, let's see how we did here. First, we'll go with the hot one. That right there, in my opinion, what a lobster roll is supposed to taste like. Lobster, butter, a little bit of cayenne. Doesn't give too much of a kick, but you can taste it. I gotta have another bite of that. Yeah, that's real good. All right, let's give the main one a shot here. It's good too. It's really good. Aromatics just really bring out that lobster taste. I can see why people like it. For me though, I think I'm going Connecticut. That the lobster and butter just is too good to beat. Or maybe I go mannequin. Why not both? All right, guys, that's it. I just want to thank Mike and Jason for having me on this showcase. Really enjoyed myself. Special thanks to Shucks Lobster up in Maine. Delicious stuff. Really highly recommend it. If you're not following me on social media, you do that here and here. Catch you guys on the next one.
I love his super dainty testing, taste testing of the lobster there, just diving right in. That's a man after my own heart. Did you enjoy that demo? Give James some love in the comments. He's going to be coming up and joining me while he's getting his camera on. I'm going to talk a little bit about Shucks Maine Lobster. I've had their stuff at the Sous Vide Summit. We had the live one. They provided some lobster that Justice Stewart cooked up, and it was amazing stuff. And I'm looking forward to being involved with them a little bit more. And I'll read the little promo here from them, and I'll try to do it a little more forcefully since Pascal said I didn't have the heart behind the previous sponsored demo. So Shucks Maine Lobster is known internationally for its exceptional quality, dedicated staff, and passion for the Maine lobster industry. They've also revolutionized the way the world eats Maine lobster with the help of their high-pressure processing system, affectionately dubbed the Big Mother Shucker. Check Shucks Maine Lobster out online near you. Is that better for you, Pascal? They have amazing products, so please check them out. And James, welcome to the showcase. Thank you so much for your great video.
Well, thank you. I got my nose cleaned a little bit after that.
So first, I want to say thanks a lot for, if any of you don't know, if you have been enjoying the ISVA's social media on Instagram, James does all of that for us. He's the behind the scenes man, putting all that together. So thank you for doing an amazing job there, growing our following, and just kind of making sure that we have good content and highlighting the community out there.
Yeah, I truly enjoy it. It's almost like it's not even doing a job.
So I know you've been branching out a little bit from Instagram and photography to starting a YouTube channel. Can you talk a little bit about what you're doing there?
Yeah, and you kind of saw it right there. I'm testing a lot of different skills. Not just sous vide now. Now I gotta get into the editing versions and really try and tell a nice story rather than just a picture.
Yeah, there's so much more that goes into the video aspects. It's like once you have it all framed and set up, and then it just kind of starts. You're not done at that point.
Yep, it's like learning all over again.
I loved your point about people being passionate about the types of lobster. When I was going to do a hands-on class, I was like, here's like 4 or 5 options. What would people be interested in? And one of them is like a lobster roll. And I talked about like using basil to like infuse the lobster. And I had people that were like, this is not a lobster roll. This is a travesty. What are you talking about? And I'm like, I never said it was like a Maine style or Connecticut style. I didn't like claim that, I was being generic. Like,
yeah, the amount of times I had to cut out that I called it a lobster roll just so I wouldn't get any hate. You don't even want to know.
Yeah, my wife's from Philadelphia, so I'm well trained that like nothing is a Philadelphia cheesesteak unless like you are in Philly eating a cheesesteak on the right bread with the right the right cheese, the right everything. Everything else is just a affront to mankind. So I could understand where the lobster is coming from, but even she's like, if you just call it a cheesesteak, she'll let it slide as long as you don't say it's Philly. But people are passionate about their lobster.
Yes, they are, and that's why I tried to incorporate both styles there, so nobody would say you gotta do the other one.
So you did like the Connecticut one best, though? That's what you ended up on?
Yeah, I like how that butter just kind of brings out the lobster, and you can really taste it. It just the lobster salad's really good too, but I kind of like that lobster taste.
Yeah, I feel like butter is makes pretty much everything better. It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah, and that little bit of cayenne punch in there was a nice taste. Kind of gave it a nice little punch.
So what other type of interesting dishes have you been working on lately?
Well, so I just my most recent video on the YouTube, what I released that one last week, was a chuck roast burn ends, poor man's burn ends as they call them, and I really enjoyed that. I started with a Wagyu chuck roast that we kind of can find pretty easy locally here in Houston, and that just had such great marbling that it stayed perfect.
I thought that looked like fantastic. Your pictures looked amazing. It looks like the type of barbecue that I love. And for that, you cooked it and then you just smoked it to get the bark on and re-bring it back up to temperature. Is that correct?
Yep, I cooked it in the sous vide for 24 hours, and then
was that at like 130 or 150?
I did it at 150. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I believe I did it at 150. Just to kind of keep that moisture while also get that tenderness, kind of like a brisket. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I kind of I ice bathed it, brought it back up to temp on the smoker over some wood, and then cubed it up, barbecue sauce, let that sauce sit.
It sounds amazing. I love a good chuck roast, and it's amazing how much sous vide can transform it. But enough about meat. This is the Sous Vide showcase. I'm going to get in trouble by Mike here. He always has to keep me on point, as I kind of veer off in all the random ways I go. Mike wants to know, what's your most popular dish on Instagram? Like, what have people really resonated with?
Oh, most recently, I would have to say that that mushroom. I did a fillet. I did fillets with a Parmesan mushroom sauce, and that went crazy. Not really a sauce person on a steak usually, but that one was just such a good good combination of mushrooms, Parmesan, creamy sauce. You can't really go wrong.
Sounds amazing, and I love a really good piece of steak by itself, and then I like a midline steak with a really good sauce on it. Like either one of those, I like a lot.
Watch it, you're gonna get in trouble with Mike.
That's all right. I'm sorry, Mike. I keep coming back to meat. I'm all hopped up on pizza today, so it's you get what you get with me.
I also love one of the other ones. If we're talking seafood, I love a good salmon. And I know I heard you and Dave talking earlier, but I love a good salmon, especially with like a creamy dill sauce. Especially for people who may not like salmon, a creamy dill sauce with that bright aromatics brings it out pretty well.
Do you normally sous vide your salmon, or do you cook it traditionally?
Yep, I'm pretty much 100% sous vide with my salmon. There's really, other than steak, I think salmon and pork are the two things that it really kind of resonates with. It just makes it so buttery and flaky. You can't get, in my opinion, a better texture cooking it traditionally.
What's your general temperature for salmon?
I go back and forth between 125 and 130. If I'm going to do anything where I have to, sear it hard, I'm going to pick 130 just so it doesn't fall apart getting it out of the bag. And I also did pretty recently a bacon wrapped scallops as kind of an appetizer, where I cubed it beforehand, brought it out after it was done, and wrapped it in bacon and gave it a quick sear.
It sounds amazing. Two of my favorite things are salmon and bacon.
It's so great.
Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate all the work you've been doing for moving the ISVA forward, helping support us behind the scenes. It's nice to see you in front of the scenes again, and I'm really excited to check out your YouTube channel. What's the channel name again?
JB Sous Vide.
I should have known. JB Sous Vide on all social media platforms, including YouTube.
Great thing about sous vide is you can just get whatever handle you want.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for doing the video. Always a pleasure talking to you and seeing the amazing things that you're doing.
All right. Thanks, guys. Enjoy.
Thanks a lot.